We are going to be learning about some important events that took place between 1812 and 1815. Now, these events were not only important in the history of our nation, they were important to the state of Tennessee and in the life of Andrew Jackson. Now, you remember that by now, Andrew Jackson has defeated John Sevier and he gets appointed the head of the Tennessee militia. In 1813, a band of Creek Indians known as the Red Sticks, because they had this custom of painting their war sticks bright red when they rode into battle, had attacked a group of settlers at Fort Mims in northern Alabama. In this attack, 250 people inside that fort are going to die at the hands of the Creek Indians. Well, the governor of Tennessee is going to tell Andrew Jackson to form a militia and go find these Creek Indians and destroy them in order to prevent any future attacks. So Jackson sends out the word for volunteers and over 3,000 men respond. And off they go, following Jackson in search of these Creek. Well, they find them along Horseshoe Bend, which is on the Tallapoosa River in northern Alabama. And a terrible battle ensues. And in that battle, 850 Creek Indians lose their lives and about 20 of Andrew Jackson's men die. But the fighting was so terrible and so brutal that people who were there said that river turned red from the blood. Following that battle at Horseshoe Bend, Andrew Jackson is going to meet with Red Eagle. Now, Red Eagle is a chief of the Creek Band, and Andrew Jackson respects him. He admires his strength, he admires his courage, and he negotiates a settlement with the Creek to prevent any future attacks. Now, as part of this settlement, Red Eagle turns over 23 million acres of prime farm and hunting land to America, proving indeed that to the victor go the spoils. Now, Jackson isn't through, because the War of 1812 is going on between America and Great Britain, and the British Army has sent 15,000 troops to invade New Orleans. Now, these weren't just any troops. These were experienced fighting men who have just come off of their defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte, and they are feeling invincible. In fact, one of them says, "We're going to give those Americans a drubbing." Only he said it with a British accent, not a Tennessee accent. But anyway, Jackson is ordered again, form a militia, go after the British. So he sends out the word. This time, 1,000 volunteers answer. Now, this is a ragtag bunch of men. Choctaw Indians, wealthy merchants, poor backwoodsmen, freed blacks, and even pirates join up with Jackson, and off they head. Now, Jackson finds a spot along the Mississippi River where he's going to make his encampment. It's bordered on one side by the Mississippi River, and behind them is marsh and swampland, and he thinks this is the place to be. So his men get busy building fortifications. Well, here comes that confident British Army, and they know where Jackson is. Now, to the British Army, these men don't look very impressive. In fact, they call them the dirty shirts because they didn't even have regular uniforms. And along the front lines, Jackson has put those dirty shirts. And the British Army makes two terrible, costly miscalculations in the Battle of New Orleans. They see the dirty shirts and they think they can't be much on fighting, or they wouldn't be in the front line, and just look at them. And they look at the Mississippi River and think it's going to be easy to cross to get to Jackson's men. Well, when they start to try to cross that river, they soon realize how foolhardy that idea was. That river is strong and the current is swift, and it takes them hours to cross it. And when they come across it, those dirty shirts open fire. And let me tell you how someone who was there described it. This is a dirty shirt talking. "Our men didn't seem to apprehend any danger, but but would load and fire as fast as they could, talking, swearing, and joking all the time. All the ranks and sections were soon broken up. After the first shot, everyone just loaded and banged away on his own. At the end of that battle, the British Army was destroyed. They lost about 2,000 men, and I think Jackson lost 50. John Coffee was a leading general in that battle, for whom Coffee County is named. And when that battle is over, the story of Andrew Jackson starts spreading across America. He gets a new nickname, Old Hickory, for being tough and strong. Now the Red Sticks had a different name for him. They called him Sharp Knife. But Old Hickory becomes famous across this nation, and people soon start to believe he might make a pretty good president.